Bonjour. Hi. How's it going? Great. Je parle français, mais la présentation va être en anglais. Fait que si vous avez des questions, quoi que ce soit, faites-moi signe. Donc, so I'm going to speak in English with my beautiful French accent, but not like French from France. Like I have a better accent than that, and I can say THE correctly. Like the, it's not the. There's Laurent's not there. Okay. So no, Laurent has a really good English, but he's French from Europe, so it's the. Yeah, we are presenting at the same time. So go knock to his door and ask everybody to come to that room. So my name is Frederick Harper. I'm from Montreal. I needed a title. I'm a consultant right now, so I decided that my title is Chief of Awesome Officer. So my company is No Lion is Born King. Basically, I'm helping tech company to do business development, outreach, visibility. So I used to be a developer, technical evangelist, Microsoft, Mozilla, and now I'm kind of like doing a little bit my evangelist thing with smaller companies, startup, but really like as a freelancer. So how many of you read the abstract of the presentation? Because that's not going to be a real talk about architecture and software development. So I just really, I think my title was pretty great, like be the architect of your career. So yeah, I'm kind of like super, like my title was great. How do you call this? Narcissistic? Nervous. So basically why I'm talking about architecture, why I'm in the track for the architect track in DevTech. Basically, when you think about it, how many people are architect in the room? Like nobody. Software developer, please. Okay. Janitor or like what other people are doing? Like designer maybe, or I don't know, integrator. In any cases, mostly everybody are tech people, and that presentation is not just for architects. Actually, it's for anybody that is in the software industry. But when you think about it, the role of an architect, no matter if it's about building a house or if it's about creating the foundation of your next piece, masterpiece software, you need to have great foundation. You need to take the leadership. You need to find the right tools, the right frameworks, the right materials to build what you want to build. And today, it's a good time to be developer or architect because there's like a shortage of people. Like we are all rock star. I hate that term, but you understand. Because there are so many choices for us. We can start our own business, we can create our own product, we can join a big company, a small company, we can do remote work. There's a lot of opportunity for us. But still, because of all those opportunities, we are competing against anybody. I can apply to the same job that you applied, then someone in India applied, then someone in San Francisco applied because probably that company gave you the access to work remotely. So if you want a great career, we spend 30, 40, 50, 60 hours per week. It's kind of important to love what you do. So you need to take the ownership of your career. You need to get out of the crowd. So today, my talk's really going to be about like taking the ownership of your career. That's going to be about personal branding. This is freaking scary. And personal branding, like what? Are you going to do like a brand? Do I need to sell myself all the time? It's kind of like, yeah, I don't do this because I'm going to talk too much about me. I'm going to try to sell myself. It doesn't sound really good when you think about it. But too bad. We are in a world where we need to do this. You need to get out of the crowd. You need to make people know that you exist, that you are the good person or the best person to do this work or that work. So basically, what is personal branding? Do you hear me walking? It's really annoying, but I just can't stand there. Like I'm gonna die if I don't move. So live with it. When it comes to personal branding, what it is, can you recognize this brand? Pepsi. Whole genus. And why you recognize that brand? It's not even the real logo. It kind of looks like, but it's a designer that decided to recreate popular logo of company that we know or brand that we know, and only using red, not red, but like circles. And this one is kind of easy. This one. Harley Davidson. For those people that recognize that brand, do you have like a moto? Are you biking? Do you have a bike? No? So why did you recognize that brand? Color. But it's a well-known brand. When we think about Harley, no matter if I'm a biker, no matter if I like those motorcycles, we recognize that brand. It's quality. It's probably expensive. It's most of the time it's like a crime organizer. They use those type of bikes. It's really not a good thing, but still we recognize, we associate some words, we associate some quality or things that are not quite good. But we can recognize that brand, even if it's not their real logo, because it kind of, hey, I know that brand. It's a well-known brand. So basically, when we think about, as I said, Harley Davidson, we think about quality, we think about probably something expensive, but we think about freedom, like I'm running my, I don't even know how to say this, but you're riding your motorcycle, it's interesting, you have like hair in the, like most people have hair in the wind, and it's kind of like it's freedom, it's power, because those are beasts, like it's crazy. But it's quality. You recognize those things. You associate those kind of words and quality to that brand. So basically, personal branding is a little bit of the same thing. It's to give yourself the opportunity to be recognized about something, to be known about something. But it's not just about being like kind of like pretentious. It's really by following a purpose. So, has another question. What is the no fight, please, but what is the best programming language for you? The best one. The one that you love the most. C Sharp. C Sharp. COBOL. Yeah. Get out of the room. Anything else? Python, Ruby, JavaScript. There's some crazy people in the room. TypeScript. So when you ask those kind of questions, mostly everybody will have like different answers. And you are all right, because you all love that specific programming language. You all love that specific technology. So when I'm asking you, okay, we said C Sharp. Right now in the room, who is the best C Sharp developer? Who are you thinking about when you think about TypeScript, or when you think about C Sharp, when you think about JavaScript? You have some names. Why do you have those names? In my case, if I think about Web Standard, I'm going to think about Paul Irish, works at Google Advocate. I'm going to think about Christian Illman. Oh my God, this guy it's a friend, and it's just like, he's going to be so happy that I'm talking about him. But I'm thinking about this guy. He worked for Mozilla for years. Now he's at Microsoft. When we think about C Sharp in Montreal, I'm going to think about Maxime Rouillet. When I'm thinking about Azure, Microsoft Azure, I'm going to think about Guy Barrett. There are some names that you may or may not know. And those people may be local or really close to you. You work with someone. When you think about, hey, who's the best person to help me with SQL queries at work? You always have like, hey, that person. If I have an issue, I'm going to talk to that person. May not be the best like developer ever. May not be the best developer. May not be the best person ever. There's probably other people that are as good or even better. But in your head, in your mind, those are the people you think about. So we may have different answers, but there is always those kind of people that came up to mind, either close to us or either people that are outside. I was thinking about Web Standard. If you're mostly in the web industry, you may know the one we call like the godfather of Web Standard, Zellman, Jeffrey Zellman. I'm thinking about this guy when I'm thinking about design, when I'm thinking about Web Standard. Those names come to mind. And why? It's because they have a really strong brand. They have a really, really strong personal branding. So, talking about Paul Irish, what he wrote about is personal branding is the heart of consistently presenting online and offline, the essence of how you stand out from the crowd. Who are you? Usually in the past, I was doing a lot of conferences, and I was always the guy in jeans and t-shirt. Now I put the beautiful shirt of DevTech, but I usually have those t-shirts where people are like, oh, Fred, what t-shirt do you have today? And it was like kind of part of my brand. People were expecting me to have like, oh, what t-shirt do you have today? And people were like, oh, I already saw that one. I was like, so sorry, like I'm wearing my clothes more than once. But that was part of my brand. I was like, oh, this guy is one of the other guy who's like a crazy cat man, always posting picture of his cat on Instagram. I do those kind of things. But the people were like, oh, he is the evangelist. Because in Montreal, we didn't have a lot of technical evangelists, and I was quite involved in Montreal. People were like, oh, you know Fred the evangelist. It was not even the Microsoft evangelist or when I was at Mozilla the Muslim, it was like the evangelist, like in Montreal, you should know Fred. And it was part of my brand. It wasn't because I was better than anybody else. It's just because people associate some words, some qualities, some expertise, some experience to me. And this is really how you act online and offline. Always putting in front of you what you know, what you don't know. So it seems quite vague right now, and people are like, yeah, okay, I kind of understand, but like, get to the point, Fred. So it's about you. But you can be quite complex and complete at the same time. It's about who you are, no matter who you are. I told you I was a guy in jeans and t-shirt. I did so many conferences where everybody were wearing suits. Guess who was in jeans and t-shirt? This guy. And people were expecting me to be like this and not changing myself to be someone else. I'm not that someone else. I'm the guy in jeans and t-shirt. So no matter who you are, good or bad, it's who you are. It's about you. It's about who you want to be. And it's not about trying to absolutely change yourself or trying to play a role. But maybe you want to grow in life. Maybe you want to reach the next level. At some point in my life, I was a developer. And I said, hey, I heard about that thing called evangelist. That looks amazing. They're traveling, doing conferences. I love to share my passion. I would like to do that kind of thing. I was like, okay, I want to be an evangelist. So I did not say to everybody like, oh, I am an evangelist. I was not lying. But what I did, as an example, I never did a talk at that time. And after my first talk in the conference, I said to people, I am a public speaker. I gave one talk. I was right. I was a public speaker now. I gave one talk. After my first talk outside of Canada, I'm an international public speaker. I was right. I've done like a talk in San Jose. I was like, okay, it was in the States. It's okay. It's a new country. I'm an international public speaker. So I wanted to become, for different reasons, an international public speaker. So that was my goal. But I never said to people, I never lied to people. So you always need to stay true to yourself and to other people. It's also how you want to be seen. I told you, I don't know why I like to be a crazy cat man. It's not really good for a relationship, like woman thinks you're crazy, but still I like that kind of like brand. So I was like, okay, I'm going to use that hashtag crazy cat man when I put those pictures. And people start now to go on my Facebook and share me picture video of cats because they say Fred will enjoy this because this is the only thing you do in his life and work, like watch cat video and work. So this is how you want to be seen. So you put stuff in front of you that you want people to understand, to associate with you. It's what you know, but it's also what you don't know. And it's as much important because there's no way that you know everything. And it's part of who you are. What you're doing and what you did in the past also is quite important. You cannot serve all the time to what you did in the past, but it's part of who you are. Your tribe, your network, the people you know, and the people who know you. There's people in the room, there's a lot of speakers in the room that I know. They may not know you, but they were on stage at some point. You know them because when you do speaking, you're one person in front of, I don't know, like 10, 20, 30, 600 people. So you don't know everybody in the room, but they know you. And that happens that sometime you go to somewhere and people are like, hey, I know you. I heard about you. And today, it's all about connection. Of course, if you're not good, that's not going to work. But you need connection. You need network. And this is the way it's working right now. So think about your tribe, but your tribe online and offline. People that are interested about what you do, about what you say, but not just in a way that just take all the love. You need to give love also to people. It's about what you like, but it's also about what you don't like. And the thing is that we're so quick right now to share on Facebook and Twitter, oh, this product is shit. Oh, I did not like my experience at that restaurant. And people notice those things. Like, it's not because nobody liked your status on Facebook or you think that nobody replied to it, that people did not read what you wrote. I remember sometime I have a blog, I wrote my blog, and someone that I never met ever, I'm quite transparent on Facebook and all those things. And the guy was like, "Oh, how was your vacation in Punta Cana?" I was like, "Dude, I know you. I know you. Like, who are you?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, I share pictures, and okay, I said that this thing was not good. Well, okay, I can talk to you about a new hotel or whatever, a new place you can go." But I know people were kind of like annoying because they're always complaining about everything. And people see those things. So it's part of your brand. Because your brand can be about positive things, but it can also be about negative stuff. And you need to think about this. So it's about everything that defines you. It's really about yourself. And when you think about it, it's quite simple but quite complex at the same time. I don't know if you already did an exercise of just sitting down and thinking about who you are. That sounds stupid, like it's Thursday. Actually, I don't know what you're doing here. Like, at that time, it's beautiful outside. I would go like on a terrace, have a beer, not listening to a bald guy in front of people. But yeah, you do what you want. But actually, I don't even know what I was saying before. I'm just thinking about the terrace and beer. But yeah, thanks for being here. So, why you need to care about branding? And this is a good question because we have so many things to do right now. Our attention span is like so short for everybody. We have so many things. Like, people are listening to the talk and writing code and going on Facebook. And there is like the new season of Orange is the New Black. So I just disappeared for like 12 hours because I was watching. So there's so many things to do. And I have a job. I may be happy. Why should I care about personal branding? So, from what you know, do you think personal branding is important? You can say no, it's okay. Like, you're sleeping? No, it's okay. It's freaking hot. Yeah, I understand. I don't think it's important. I think it's critical, more than ever, for different reasons. First, you already have a personal branding. You already have a brand. You should be like super shocked then. No? Okay. I love when people do this. Okay, oh yeah, stupid speaker. Let's But you already have a brand. And when you think about it, when you talk about one of your coworkers, oh, I really like that guy or that girl, she helps me with that design. I was stuck with CSS and she helped me, like, really always there to help me. This is amazing. And oh, yeah, no, we should go for a beer after, I'm always talking about beer. We should go for a beer after work, but let's not invite that person because, quite annoying. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, but at the end of the day, people will say, oh no, hey, when I have an issue and I want to discuss about, like, hey, how can I start a user group? Who should I talk to? Oh, Mario, in the end of the room, I'm going to talk with his new EP here. I'm kind of jealous, but like, I'm going to talk to Mario. Yeah, I want to understand. Like, how is it? So it's part of this brand. You know how to understand how to create user group, how to reach out to people, how to understand. So whether you like it or not, it's part of this brand. When I'm thinking, I was debugging something in HTML, I was like, oh my god, that's not working. So Max Souillet was near me, and it was like, oh, I can help you. And I was like, hey, it's true. Max knows his things, you know. So we all have a brand, and we all give brand to people. We all give, like, positive stuff or negative stuff. So the thing is that you already have a brand. You may not know about what people think about you, and do the exercise. Go on Facebook, and people will all be, like, friendly because it's your friend, but just ask about, hey, what do you think about me? Like if you have to describe me for, like, in 10 words, what would be those words? And you could be surprised. You could be really surprised. But the thing is that, I told you, you already have a brand. So if you don't manage your own brand, other people will do it for you. Sometimes it's like when we saw, like, social media crisis or whatever, and, like, if you don't care about the crisis, you're dead. Like, so it's not that critical right now with their brand, but that could be. So, personal story about, like, why I think right now personal branding is important. Because I did not know a couple of years ago that I had a brand. I did not even know what a personal branding was, but it helped me in my career. And at some point, I realized like, how can I go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, and it's kind of working. Like, and I'm not more brilliant than anything else. There's a lot more brilliant people than me. I was like, how can I go to, my plan was like, okay, I'm a developer, I like to do it. I was like, oh, that evangelisting, I want to do it. So I started, and I started as an evangelist at Microsoft. They hired me, they reached out to me, they offered me a job, and I did this for like 2 years and a half. I was like, okay, I'm an open source guy. I may want to do other stuff, but I like to do this. But I was traveling in Canada. I was like, hey, I want to reach the next level, which was for me, my next level was I want to be an evangelist, but speak outside of Canada and grow my network outside of Canada. So I got a job at Mozilla, and I gave conferences a lot in Europe and in many countries, and that was my next step. And at some point, I say, okay, now it's been 5 years that I'm like traveling like crazy. Now I want to scale down, and it was not like, hey, it's a drop in my career. No, I decided to, okay, I want to scale down. I want to go back to a small company, to a startup. And I was able to go in a startup which had money to pay me, which is quite interesting. So all the time I was like working to my career and always do stuff that I like to do. And always trying to, okay, when I was bored and didn't work anymore and I wanted to do something else, I was able to do it. Because I always tried to reach the next level, thinking about, okay, how can I use who I am, what I know, what people think about me. I started with a customer recently. I never met them in person. And they were like, Fred, we want to work with you. Like, why? People told us that you're good. It's like, okay, who told you this? And like, they're crazy. But it was someone who I never worked with. So someone that I never worked with told that person that you need to work with Fred. He is good, professional guy. I could have been like the worst consultant ever. At that time, it was like software development. I could have been like the worst developer ever. You don't know. You never worked with me. But I gave the impression that I was a professional, that I was a talented professional. Why? My brand will say, okay, this guy seems to know what he's talking about. So, of course, I could have like get that customer and really be a shitty developer, and that would have ruined everything. So you need to still have like some like, I would say, experience or expertise. You don't want people to kind of like lie about you. But my point is that people were telling other people that, hey, Fred is good. Never worked with me. But for me, it's like, it's mind blowing. It's crazy. Like, how would you say that, like, you need to work with me? Like, you don't even know if I'm good. I may be the most terrible, like, employee you want to have or consultant. So it really helped me to reach always the next level in my career, no matter if it was, like, from a point of view, frontward or backward or anything. What I want to do, it's not that I can do everything I want, but it's easier when you got that brand, when you got that network, when you got those people that have the impression that who you are is really who you are. Your brand is who you are. So it's not really about being that rock star. I told you my story. I wanted to be like an international speaker and being an evangelist everywhere and making money and traveling, and I did. And for me, that was one of the goals. But you may want just to, maybe you don't want to travel all the world. Maybe you don't want to go work for that big company. So it's not really just about being that big rock star. That can be just about getting the next job. That can be just working on more exciting product, or just starting your own company, or getting a better paycheck. But the thing is that you need to remember that even if we have a shortage when it comes to quality developer, architect, you are not indispensable. And I talk to so many people so often that are like, yeah, that's going to hurt so much the company if I leave. I was like, yes, maybe not. But of course, if everybody leaves, if all the developer team leave the company, that's going to hurt the company. You will find other people. You will have a delay. They may not release the application or the new version really soon. You will have a learning curve for the new people. But nobody is indispensable. Never, ever. Even if you try to be like, I know people who try to be like the bottleneck of the company, really like trying to make everything pass through them and having hold the decision, and was asking like, oh, how can we do this? And so like let me explain to you. And I was like, no, write something somewhere. What happens if you leave tomorrow? I'm like, no, I'm not writing those things. I know how to do it. And they were trying to be like that person where, like that important person in the company. We kicked that person out. The company is still there. It was hard. It was not easy. We lost some money, we lost some time, but nobody is indispensable. So keep this in mind. So there is a lot of new opportunities. So maybe you're happy now. Maybe you love your job now. What happens if tomorrow your manager changed? And it's not as fun as it used to be. Or finish the cool project you work on. And the next one is about, yeah, okay, you need to do, I don't know, add multi-language support to a really crazy website. It's kind of like super boring stuff, and you don't want to do this for the next 6 months. So things can change. You may want to have a better paycheck. In Quebec, we have an issue with money, and like it's kind of like we should not talk about salary and blah, blah, blah. For me, it's okay. Like if you want a better paycheck, this is your goal. Get a better paycheck. You can have a better paycheck. You can get more money, get more benefits. And it's okay. If it's your goal, I'm not going to be mad at you. Like, it's a good thing. You want to have a better living? Go for it. And we are in a great industry where you can get more money depending on where you work, on the expertise you have. And that could be a great goal. Recognition is not bad too. You want people in the industry to know that you're good at XYZ. Or you want to be sure that you can have something more to your resume. So think about those things. Those are valid goals for working on your personal branding. I would say taking the ownership of your branding. Or maybe it's just getting a job. Some people are just get out of school, or they cut out your job for different reason, or you just want to work in a different industry. I know some people were like, oh, I really would like to work in the game industry. I was like, okay, go. Like, they're always looking for people. Just do it. Yeah, but I don't know like how to create games. Create one. Create one on your part-time. Show them that you have the skills. And do what you need to do to achieve the next step. But you deserve to be successful. I told you, we spend so many hours at work that if you don't like what you do, for me, I'm probably going to offend people in the room, but I don't understand people who wake up on the Monday are like, oh my God, that's going to be the most terrible week of my life. No, I need to go to work. I understand that, like, hey, you're tired, it's still Monday, you have to wake up. You still have to wake up, but like, really not in the mood that, oh, I hate my job so much. Like, you are leaving to go from Monday to Friday. Like, you're leaving for the Friday at 5 o'clock so you can have your weekend. That's a shitty life. I'm like, sorry all the time, and I don't understand this. We have so many opportunities, and I'm sorry if I'm rude, but if you don't like what you're doing, for no matter the reason, even if it's not like seen like a valuable reason about why you don't like your job, it's too far from home, I don't know. I don't care. If you don't like what you're doing, do something else. You need to do something else. We spend so many hours at work, it's crazy. So you deserve to be successful. So take the ownership of your personal branding. And it's really for everyone. Right now I'm talking about technical people, software developer, architect. But think about the waitress at the restaurant. They have some brand too. I know that if I go to that restaurant, I know that the waitress should remember me. She's like, hey Fred, you want your like special like usual, because I always eat the same thing. And I like those things. And I know she's friendly, and I know that if I go to that other restaurant, I know that she's always forgetting stuff with my food. It's not good, but it's part of her brand. So everybody, no matter the type of job you are doing, either tech or no, branding is important. But let's go back to more technical people. So how can you do this? First, define your goal. Yes, you have a brand. Yes, you need to take the ownership of that brand. But why? Why do you, this is really annoying. Why do you want to take the ownership of your brand? I told you before, is it a better paycheck? Is it I want a new job? I want to get like a promotion. I want to become manager. I don't know why everybody wants to become manager, but you want to become manager. You want to work in a different country. You want to have more freedom. No matter. There is many reasons. Find your reason. Sometimes it's just about like, hey, I don't want people to say bad things about me. It's okay. You may have less job than someone that wants to really reach a new goal, no matter it's what. But define your goal. Think about why I should take care about my brand. And you may say like, nah, last 1 hour with Fred, really not for me. That's okay. You're going to regret it at some point, but it's okay. But if you have a goal, think about it. If you want to take care of your brand, think about the goal. Define your brand. And this is a quite complex experience to do. I told you, ask people how to define you. One of the things that I realized a couple of years ago is that those Twitter lists, when they started to put lists on Twitter, and people were adding me to lists that I was like, oh, people see me like as a C# expert. Like I never wrote, at that time, I never wrote a line of C#, and people were like, oh, and they were putting me in like ASP.NET Twitter list, or someone was putting me like in, I don't remember the list. I was like, oh, this is how people see me. I never thought about it. Sometimes you're so like, hey, I know myself, or I kind of know myself, and just what I think people think about me. But ask people, you're gonna be interesting. And after, it's like what the perfect brand for you would be. Still keeping this realistic. So at some point, I sat down when I understood that I had that brand. I said, okay, what is my brand? Like, hey, who I am. I'm that evangelist, friendly, social person who likes cats. I'm a blogger. I'm a speaker. I'm bold. I talk too much. I'm annoying sometimes. I like beer, wine. And I was like, okay, I just threw up like a brainstorm about like, hey, who I am, what I would like to do, who I would like to be, what is the next step for me. And I define my brand. So if you go like on Twitter, or you check my biography, you're gonna see like, okay, those words are coming back. Like this is always the kind of words where people talk about Fred. It's like, oh yeah, Fred, he's kind of funny sometimes when you do presentation, or oh, he seems to be a great speaker. He's shit with this technology. But it's not about like, hey, I'm so pretentious. No, it's people when they talk to you, or people like, oh, I used to work at Microsoft, I used to work at Mozilla. Hey, it's part of like what I did. It's part of who I am. So you define your brand. You define who you are. And trust me, this one I told you, it's quite interesting. Really sit down at some point, and it's kind of like a question of life, who I am. Trust me, no alcohol, no specific substance. That's gonna be like crazy. You're gonna think about it, hey, who I am, like right now, who I am. In terms of personal, but also professional. Who wants to be? But everything put together, always be authentic. Always be yourself. You cannot lie to people. You cannot pretend to be someone you are not. You can try to be someone new or change some part of your life. You can try to go there, but you cannot lie. If I'm going on stage all the time and I say like, oh, I'm such an expert in, I don't know, Python, that may work for a couple of days, weeks, even months or years. But when people are going to find out that I was lying, I'm like, I know nothing about Python. I know basic stuff. I'm not a Python developer. That's going to ruin my credibility. And sometimes being authentic, meaning that some doors will close. In my case, I did like, last time I had a full-time job, I was doing my interviews in jeans and t-shirt because that was me. I was like, if you don't want to see me in the office with jeans and t-shirt, not going to work. And people are like, I'm going to never, ever work with that guy. Like he's swearing and those like crappy jeans, and he's always saying a lot of things on social media, too transparent, like, can I really put like my brand in the end of that guy? Like, maybe not, it's okay. You cannot please everyone, but by staying authentic, I had also wonderful opportunities where people are like, hey, I like your boldness, not boldness, boldness. Some people like my boldness too, it's a little bit creepy. But by being authentic, you stay yourself, and that gives you other opportunities. So it's not always easy. It's really not always easy. But I'm pretty sure that you're always going to win if you stay yourself in any situation. Do epic shit. I use the word shit too much, but I love that expression. Like, everybody can be average. Everybody can be average. Don't be average. Like, when you do stuff, do the best you can. Always do epic shit. I don't even know how to say other stuff that do epic shit. Like, do epic stuff. Do what you like, and make it hard. I always put an H in front of hard. Make it hard. I told you, everybody can be average. So how can you be the best yourself? How can you deliver the best out of it? And in all situations, you need to always give the best of yourself and do what you love. Because there is some opportunities where you're going to be able to maybe get more money. You're going to be able to, I don't know, travel. You're going to be able to work less. Or there's a lot of opportunities out there. But if you do this for the wrong reason, if you don't like what you do, if you don't love what you do, if you lack passion, you're doomed. You're done. You need to have that passion. You need to be excited about what you do. When I'm on stage and I'm like, that may not look like this because I'm so tired right now, but usually I'm a little, I'm kind of expressive right now. Do I look excited about personal branding? Please say yes, because my point won't be good. But like when I talk about personal branding, when I talk about web development, when I talk about, hey, you should start a blog because I believe in blogging, when I talk about those things, you can feel the passion most of the time. You understand that I like what I'm doing. And I gave some talks in the past about things that were so boring, but it was like, okay, we need to learn that technology. People were like, you made this exciting. You made this interesting. Why? Because I was on stage and I was like, this is amazing. You need to try this. You need to try that technology. You need to do this. So when I talk about personal branding, I make no money about that thing. It's just like I believe in it. That serves me well. So I share my passion about personal branding. So I love what I do. When I'm on stage and talking about this, I love it so much. You need to love it. You need to make your own rules. And I'm not talking about being an anarchist. Yeah, definitely. But it's more about don't accept no for an answer. Don't be afraid to knock to some doors. There's some people that are so shy, so they're afraid to have like no answer. That they was, I'm gonna wait. Maybe at some point, my manager will notice that I'm a good employee and will offer me that promotion. Like maybe, and that may happen. It's okay. But what about you go talk to your manager and say like, that role, I really would like to have it, and I think I have the competency. I think I can do that role. Like, give it to me. And worst case, you're gonna have no. I don't think you can do that role. You're not good, or you're not ready, or I give it to someone else, or blah blah blah. But if you don't ask, there we go. It's simple stuff. It's kind of like people like, yeah, okay, we know that, Fred. Thanks, you're a genius. But we know those things, but we don't apply them. We don't use them day to day. So really, how can we really do this? So that was kind of like the eye-level stuff. But there is a secret ingredient. And you know it's not about spitting the meal you're preparing. The first and the only thing you need to keep in mind is get visibility. And not about like, hey, look at me, I'm so like nice and good and beautiful, and like, hey, look at me, like those animating people that send like those successful email to all the company, look at me, I deployed that new feature, I'm so good, like we get new customers because of me. No, it's really about be there and take all the opportunity you have to get what I would call great visibility, not that annoying visibility. We have so many channels right now to be out there, to be seen. It's not just about like, hey, I work with that guy, and now he's in a new company, and I say I should hire Fred. No, I can be on Twitter, I can be on Facebook, I can be everywhere with the time I have. So, first thing first, be good enough to search yourself on Google. It's kind of a weird experience for some of us, and really weird experience for other people. But if you go on Google, search yourself, and try to see if you exist there in the web. If your name is not there, if you don't exist on Google, you just don't exist. It's like you need to be on Google. So do the exercise. It's quite interesting sometimes when you are active online to understand what kind of like things will pop up first, what people are saying about you, what like really bad picture of you come first in Google image search. But if you're not on Google, you don't exist. And I don't know if it's because I'm a stalker, I don't know, but when I was hiring people, I was searching for people in, oh, sorry, you're like cats, huh? You like it? Yeah. Go, jump. Those J's of people. Uh, so if you're not on Google, for me, you don't exist. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm living too much in the virtual space. But for me, it's one thing. Start a blog. And people will say like, oh my God, Fred, you're so old-fashioned. Blog is so like 2001. It was like, blog is still the only social platform and the only platform that you totally own. It's yours, depending if you use different platform like Medium, maybe not true. But if you start your own blog, you put this on your server or whatever, it's my platform. I can write everything I want. And I used to be way more technical than I am right now. And I never had a technical blog. My blog was more about personal stuff. And it served me all the time. When I was applying for a job, it's like, go read my blog. And you're going to know me. And you're going to know if you want to work with me. Because I have blog posts about travel that I did, and I have a blog post about, hey, that new technology, but that's not going to be like super technical. And I have that blog post about the fact that I did a depression and all those things. And people are like, oh, John, you wrote about those things. I was like, yeah, for different reasons. But you're going to have a really, really good idea about who I am. And it's a good platform if you're not doing things personal. It's a good platform. Some people are like, hey, how can I really show that I have some knowledge and expertise? Blog. You found a bug in API, write a blog post about how you solved it. You'll get you visibility. I wrote some blog posts about I was getting talk about responsive web design, and I got book writing offer, and I was not the most knowledgeable about responsive web design, not even the most vocal about it, but they were searching for expert in responsive web design. They got on my blog and was like, oh, this guy knows things, like he can write a book. So they contacted me and said, would you like to write a book about responsive web design? That gave me some opportunities. That gave me some job offer too. People were searching for, oh, I'm looking for JavaScript, I don't know, expert in Montreal. My blog was coming up. It was like, oh my God, okay, this guy, no, I didn't know this guy. It's interesting. So blog is a really, really good platform to get out there. It's a lot of commitment. And most of us, we're not writers. It's not easy to put words in your thoughts. But the more you do, the easier it's going to become. And people are really, I would say, kind of open to those things. Like when I started my blog, it was only in French because I was only speaking French. And like 4 or 5 years ago, I had to learn English. I was like, okay, now I'm going to write in English. I'm going to be able to reach more people. That was like, from the point of view, like a copy editor, my blog posts, they were like awful. So many like stupid grammar error, but I was starting to write in English. People were like, hey, we understand what you want to say. We may not publish this on a book like this, but like we understand what you want to say, and it's okay. Like, oh, you speak a second language. So people, they're really open to this, and don't be afraid to have like, because there's so many trolls. So you're gonna write something, and people say like, oh my God, this is so not true. Like you're so wrong. It's okay to be wrong, but just share your passion, share your expertise, and blog is a really, really good way to do this. Social media. We're still living in a social media world. Whether you like it or not, whether you think that Twitter is like for sharing a picture of your breakfast, it's kind of for this. But there's other useful reasons, like I share a picture of cats on Instagram. So like those social media platforms, they're quite interesting. I remember when I was a freelancer a couple of years ago, I was doing web development as my offer was about web and mobile development, and it was at the beginning of iPhone with Objective-C, so like not the first one, but after when we were able to create app. And I was like, hey, I want to build mobile application. Like everybody wants mobile application. I need to be in this. So I just put on Twitter like, hey, I'm starting my own business. I'm now doing development. But people, again, someone on Twitter that I never met before say, hey, Fred is doing mobile development. So I got contracts by using social media. And it's a great way to connect with people because it's not always easy to stay connected to all the people you know offline. I believe in the offline space. I really believe in person-to-person contact. But online, it's really more easier to reach more people. Either personal people like more on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat that I really don't understand, maybe I'm too old. But like every platform out there that gave you the opportunity to reach out people, use them. But you don't have to use them all. And you don't have to like them all. Try one. If you don't like it, it's okay. I've never been able to use Google Plus. I just don't like that. platform. So I still have an account for different reasons. I was like, do I really have to use that thing? Like, no. If I don't want, I don't have to. So try them, use the one you like. And it's okay to change. Speak at conferences. That seems like a little bit crazy, like, oh my God, no, it's so shy. I'm not gonna like put myself in front of people and be afraid to code and I'm gonna say stuff and there's gonna be people in the room that know a lot more than me and that's gonna be annoying. And do I need to look at people and I'll find that people are news and that's gonna help me or no, I'm too shy. I cannot do this. I'm not good enough. You are all good to speak. There's a lot of conferences that give chances to people that start public speaking, and it's a great way. Just right now, it's a small room. We have like, I don't know, 30 people. There's 30 people that now know me. You may not like me, but you know me. It's one thing. So it's a great opportunity to get visibility. And when you're on stage, you are the expert. No matter if there's people that know more than you, no matter if you say things that are wrong, that happen. Everything you say is wrong, this is a different story. But think about the fact that when you're in front, all the people in the room, you're not in front, I'm in front. So I got, I don't know, courage or you were in front. You were in front of the crowd and other people in the room. So think about this. So you did something better. So even if your demo does not work, if you fail something, it's live. People in the room like, you want to come on stage? Okay, like do my demo. After laugh at me, like it's okay. So don't be afraid. There is a lot of user groups. I heard a lot of C#, and SM Montreal is always looking for a speaker, and they give a lot of chances. And the people that are there, they're giving like how many talks have you given the last couple of years? Like 2,000. So this guy can help you. Shy guy in red. And this guy is speaking in front of people. It's funny because I always thought you were shy, but you speak in front of people. And this is the first 2, 3, 4 talks that are kind of like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna throw up on me. Like it's so stressed. I'm so stressed out. After it's becoming a little bit easier, and that gives you other opportunities. And it's good for you. It's good for your company. It's good for a lot of people. And on top of that, if you give a great talk, you help people. You share your passion. So it's a great experience. Start a user group. And if you're in Montreal, we have probably 3 user groups per night. It's crazy. But there is still space for a new user group about something else. A couple of years, I was with 2 of my friends, and we were like, hey, HTML5, not HTML5, because that was the marketing thing. It was so popular. We need a user group about HTML5. And we're like, no, there's JavaScript Montreal, and there is like that web developer thing. It was like, no, I'm pretty sure we should do this. We created HTML5 Montreal. We got like 100 people for the first like 10 meetup, and now the group is like 1,000 something members. And it was like, there's so many groups out there. But there's still space because we like to have specific type of user groups. So think about something. I'm not saying like we should all start user group, but if you feel that there's a lack about something, specific technology, do it. Just do it. We have that opportunity in Montreal to do those kind of things. And there are so many resources out there that you can start a user group and not pay money for it. That's going to take you just your time. Maybe a lot of time, depending on how you do stuff. But find friends, find coworkers to do it with you. Think about open source. I know it's getting better and better. People think a lot more about open source. But put your stuff on GitHub, or Bitbucket, or whatever you like. But on GitHub. It's better on GitHub. There's no people. This is where the cool kids are. But put your stuff online. And it's okay. Your code may not be perfect. You may not use the best practices out there. You may have bugs. It's okay. People will complain. But some people will do pull requests. Some people will fix your stuff. That's going to give you visibility. You're going to be able to, when you apply for a job, go check my GitHub profile. I help in different open source projects, or you can just see code from my personal project that I do during the evening or weekend, because we all know we don't have life, we code all the time. So you put those things online. That's going to help you to either show your expertise, that's going to help you to connect with new people, that's going to help you to get visibility, and that can really help you to learn new languages. I have someone I know who was doing some Oracle stuff for years and was like, he was like, I'm tired. I would like to do Android. And he participated in the project and learned how to code and got a job because he was able to show that, hey, I have some like minimal skills that I know now how to do it. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. Help other people. I'm kind of like in between with Stack Overflow because I feel that it's more of a copy paste kind of platform. Like people just want an answer, you give them the code, they copy and paste in their project and don't understand what they put in their project. But we don't need Stack Overflow to do this. But still, it's a great place. And I say Stack Overflow could be everywhere just because it's one of the most popular. But help people. If you don't feel that you're maybe too shy or whatever reason to just put your code out there, find a topic you know, or even better, find a topic you don't know and help people. Search, find, read documentation. And by helping people, you can show your profile because there's that points thing, or even if you don't care about the points in Stack Overflow, first you help people. This is always good. It's not just about yourself. It's about helping other people. Like you like when you search for a problem in Google and someone say, hey, this is how I solve the issue. And you can like it. So it saves you a lot of time. So why not being part of those people who help other people to save some time? But at the end of the day, it's not just about showing your code. You can show that you have an expertise. You can show that you have a specific brand by helping other people. And Stack Overflow is one way to do this. If you don't feel like helping people that don't thank you when you gave them an answer, you can write some documentation. There is so many open wiki out there. I always put Mozilla because I'm more of a web developer, CSS, JavaScript, and NPM, Mozilla Developer Network is quite amazing as resources. But it's open. Everybody can go there and write documentation. And it's not about being a writer who's going to write like 10,000 pages. Maybe you can just go there, you find an issue in documentation, something wrong, fix it. Put this on your resume, put this on LinkedIn, put this everywhere. It's part of what you did for the tech community. It's part of how you help people. It's part of your brand. Or just report bugs. And not just like on Twitter about, oh, so annoying, I cannot log into your application. Yes, you can do this. But thinking about, again, about Mozilla with Firefox, or you can go there, there's Bugzilla, report bugs. It seems like, just a small step in everything I can do. But still, there's some people that got hired by Mozilla because they were like crazy bug reporter, like literally crazy people, like just reporting bugs all the time. We're like, what are you doing? Like just testing the software all day long. But they were so they liked so much that software, that piece of software, that was like, I want to make it better. People like, you're so good. Like, do you want to be part of the QA team? And you got your dream job by reporting bugs. So it's kind of like a unicorn story. But there's a lot of stories about those kind of things. Share your design skills. I don't know for you, I'm really bad when it comes to design. But for those of you that are good in design, people love beautiful stuff. Like if you're able to create great UI, go and dribble, put some screenshots of the latest application you did, or the latest design, or the latest thing you create. This is a great platform. And you can do this on your blog. You can do this everywhere. But there are some platforms that are more popular, and it's always about who can I reach? Is there new people that I can reach out? I can create a video, put it directly on my blog. What I will do, I will create my video, put it on YouTube, and embed YouTube in my blog. So I'm going to have my blog post, that's going to be on my stuff, but I'm going to be on YouTube. So if someone search for, hey, I would like to find a talk on personal branding, talk that I'm recording, that's going to be on YouTube. They will like, okay, that's going to give me access to more people than only my tribe. And those people can be part of my tribe at some point, can be part of my direct network that I can reach out. Do a certification. Again, love-hate relationship with that thing, because for me it's more about like, hey, can you study a topic and get a certificate? But still, there's so many companies out there that are like, hey, we want someone with certification that can justify that you have the expertise. And most big companies, they have certification. Think about Microsoft, think about Oracle. You go there, look for technology you know, understand what the exam will be about. Usually it's $100. You go there, do the exam, you fail, you get it. But you can go back if you fail, and you get a certification. And like that big company said that I'm good enough to have that piece of paper. And there is some company that gonna even pay for your certification to do it, or some people that will give you a raise when you have those certifications, or that can help you when you don't really have. Again, don't be afraid to, don't do just stuff that you know, like as an expert. When I started to code more about like, hey, I want to do more JavaScript and HTML, blah, blah, blah. At that point, Microsoft was starting to use HTML. Actually, it was Windows 8. It was like, I know nothing about Windows 8, but I had to know about it. Well, I'm going to do a certification about Windows 8. So I learned, and I did the certification. That was a way for me to learn a new technology. But after, I was like, hey, I'm a Windows 8 expert. Like, I know how to code applications, which may not be that true, but still, certification could be an interesting thing. There's a lot of industry recognition. I'm thinking about Mozilla have those Remo. Microsoft has those MVP, those most valuable professional. It's usually related to technology. You're MVP. What are you? No, why? You're stupid. You need to put your MVP. So an MVP is usually for Microsoft, as an example, is usually associated with the technologies you have, like I don't know, Hedge MVP, C# MVP, and those are people that Microsoft recognized in the community has influencer and expert with those technologies. And this is pretty great. Like you say, hey, that big company recognized me over, I don't know how many people in Montreal or like in Canada or any other country, has an expert and an influencer with that specific technology. So this one is more about Microsoft giving you that recognition. But there is other company, like I was saying, Mozilla. They have what they call the Mozilla representative. And those are just like people that are so involved in the community to help the web being more open, to help people to deploy more web applications and specific native or that use standard instead of using like specific vendor prefix. And those people, they're so involved. They got something Mozilla said, hey, do you want to have like an official title to recognize you as someone involved in the industry? And people put this in their resume, put this on LinkedIn. It's great. Like, that company recognized me as an expert. So you can't really, like, say, hey, give me that, like, recognition. Like, I don't, like, give it to me. But you can kind of, like, influence the process. Why? Thinking about this. Why Microsoft, like, how Microsoft can recognize me as an expert of, if that X is HTML, like, of web development. Okay, so they need to hear about me. So, okay, how can I get more visibility? How can I show my expertise? Oh, maybe I'm going to write some blog posts. Maybe I'm going to submit the talk to that conference. Or maybe I'm going to talk to actual MVP to understand how it's working, to understand like who I need to know. Or it's not just about who you know, but still, if they never heard about you, you will never have that recognition. And it's really great. Seriously, it's impressive when you go for an interview and say, hey, Microsoft recognized me. And I'm always saying Microsoft, this is a great example. Recognize me about expert in that technology. This is quite impressive. Like, trust me. Network, network, and network. It's not good if you don't like people, but I guess that if you're in conference, you're kind of like okay with people. But it's super important. Like, people you know, people that know you, it's part of, like, if you don't have a network, if you don't cultivate that network, if you don't grow that network, not going to work. You're not going to be able to get that visibility. You're not going to be able to get out there. And again, it's not just about like give me stuff, give me a new job. Hey, I want something. I want a contract. Help me. No, it's about also helping other people. Not always like, hey, I'm going to help you because I know that like in 6 months when I'm going to need something, it has to because I helped you before. No. So network, and you never know when the person you're talking to will be your next manager, will be your next employee, will be the next person who's going to give you a contract. You never know. And everything is an opportunity to network. Don't be that annoying business card ninja like, hey, my name is Fred, business card, and it's just annoying. But take the time to talk to people. Take the time to network. For me, conferences, they're less about listening to the speaker than networking with people during the break, during the party, there's a party, or like before the talk and after the talk. For me, the biggest value for a conference is meeting people, is talking to people, is seeing people, is networking. Go to some networking event. Go to that user group, but instead of coming 5 minutes before the presentation and leaving right after, go with the people that go take a beer after. Just come like 20 minutes before and take the time to talk to people instead of just sitting down in your chair and checking Facebook and waiting for the presentation to start. Talk to people. Some people will be boring. Some people will be annoying. You won't get along with everybody. But, again, you never know the person you're talking to will be an important person in your network, or no. But network, 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 online, offline. Take the time to talk to people. And not always in a, like, I need stuff, need to help me. No, it's really like get the time to know people. So when you should do this? Yesterday. Like now it's too late. And I told you before, you may think right now that, hey, good thing about personal branding, Fred, but nah, I don't need this. And it's not like I'm like super so whatever, but it's just like I don't need it. I'm happy, life is good. That happened in my life when I was supposed to talk to my boss. So we're thinking about like getting me part of like not an investor, but really becoming an owner of the company within. And we're like, okay, let's finish that project, and we're gonna speak in a month. And everything was looking good. I went to the office. It was like, oh, Fred, can you like stop to work tomorrow? Like what? Business is not going that well. Like how? I never seen this happen, so I lost my job, and I was like super happy, and I was like becoming like a partner in my like that was supposed to be the plan, and we're doing cool project. I was like, I can stay there for 10 years. I was like, oh shit, lost my job. I got a really good job. Everything was right. New manager, less interesting. Really like flash of personality, but really like quite intense. So my job that I used to like, I'm like, nah, I don't like it anymore. So you never know when you're gonna need it. It's like when people tell you like, hey, you never know when you're gonna need a resume. So always update your resume, because the day you're gonna need to find a job, and you need to take like a day to update your Word document because you still do this, or update your LinkedIn profile, it's gonna be too late. So start to think about your personal branding. Start to take the ownership right now, and it's really an investment. You may think about the fact that, hey, that may not be for me right now. That may be too much investment. I may not need it. But you're investing in your career. You're investing in your present, but also in your future. And you can start to do this while you're at work. Some people like, hey, I have kids, family, I have a life. I don't have the time to start blogging and go on social media and do this, and that. But you can try to integrate this in your actual job. Talk to your boss. What about starting a blog? What about me writing some technical blog posts to show the expertise of the company? You're going to get exercise. You're going to practice writing blog posts, but that's going to be good for your company. What about speaking at a conference? When I speak at a conference, I'm on stage and I say, hey, I'm part of the No Lion is Born King company. That's promotion. That's marketing for the company. So there is a way for you to sell this to your boss. And I know we are running out of time, but I'm done. So you are the expert. Everybody in the room, you are an expert about something. And there's always better people than us. I'm talking about personal branding. There is some other people that know a lot more than me about this. I'm doing a talk about responsive web design. I was at the same conference than Ethan Marcotte, the guy who created responsive web design. So I was like, hey, I know nothing about it. Like, you're a god. Like, you're the guy who created it. So there's always someone better. But it doesn't mean that you cannot be an expert about something. So think about what is your expertise. Think about what is your brand. Think about what you have to offer out there. Think about how you can get out of the crowd and make it happen. And leave your mark on everything. On everything you do. Don't be average. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. Don't be average. Be awesome. Leave a mark. Make sure that people remember you. Make sure that people will say, hey, this guy, this girl, they're good. Great people I want to work with. So you only scratch the surface. We can give a lot more information. Those are small tricks to really start really quickly. Think about it. I love personal branding so much that I wrote a book. I published a book on A-Press. It's basically like a long version of my talk. If you like it, I really don't make money out of it. When I was talking about like creating opportunity to get visibility, my idea was like, hey, I love it so much that I want to publish something out there with more than like a blog post in my blog. I want to do a longer form. I was like, I'm going to write a book on myself. And I got in contact with someone on A-Press and they were like, hey, we're going to publish you. But it's really an interesting experience. It's not a big book, 100 pages. But right now, I can say to people that I'm an author. It's part of what I did. It's part of who I am. It's part of my brand. And now people say, hey, oh, you kind of struggle with your career, you should go have a coffee with Fred. Actually, people say you should go have a beer with Fred, but you should go talk with Fred. Like, he's gonna help you with your brand. He's gonna talk about your brand. And I was like, people now associate me with personal branding. Why? Because I wrote a book. But so many people wrote books, and you don't do this usually to make money. It's really about, I can put this in my LinkedIn. It's part of my bio right now. It's like, hey, Fred published a book at Hey Press on personal branding with a really shitty title that I did not choose, by the way, neither the cover. So, yeah, I don't have a better picture than this one. So I record a talk for some crazy people that would like to listen again to it or just share it to some other people. That's going to be on Out of Comfort Zone. It's my personal blog with blog posts in French and English, most of the time in Franglish. No Lions Born King, one-pager for my company. And that's it. Actually, I would really like to thank you. Last session of the last day. You really either wanted to know about that topic or just crazy. But in either case, thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed. I was not too boring. And thanks.